Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martin and this is how to become a millionaire in 2 years. So usually I am an entrepreneur. So I have had a couple of businesses over the years. So for example, like in 2003, 2004, I started a business on buying items in the US and selling them to Europe, mainly to Germany. That's where I'm originally from. And that was actually a pretty good business. We had a shipping center in the US and we had one in Germany. We shopped in bulk. We shipped it over to Germany, to the shipping center there. They unpacked it and then sent it in individual boxes to the consumer. Overall, the whole shipping time from ordering to the consumer in Germany wasn't that bad either because we used express shipping from here to Germany. So overall, it was between 5 and 7 business days. And, in 2004, that was acceptable. Might not be these days anymore, but at that time, it was fine. We actually sold about 50 to 60,000 items in about 1.5 to 2 years. Till I actually sold that business to a company in London. Then after that time, once I actually still worked for the company who bought my business in several cities in the US and Europe, I then started as a freelancer working for other companies in the software development area. So I helped develop online stores, blogs, other websites. Could be front end or back end, didn't matter. Could be PHP or .NET or Java, C++. I learned all those languages during my time at university. So I'm pretty flexible in that area. And in about 2013-14 is when I started CheerApp, which was an app that you could download on iOS and Android. It helped people anonymously to connect, to ask for help, to, let's say, mowing the lawn, or, you need to get stuff transported from the ground level to your 3rd floor when you move. Little things, so you can just connect on a short period of time, and after that, that connection is gone again. However, it didn't work out, but at least I tried. So the next thing I want to touch on is, do I have to become a millionaire? Well, first of all, it kind of sounds nice, no question about it. But because of my knowledge I have as a software developer, as a project manager, I'm pretty certain to always find a job. And currently I do have a job. I work from 9 to 5. I can work from home. And I do not have to become a millionaire. So I just want to get this out of the way, because you might think, well, I'm jobless and I don't have any money and whatnot, and I have to do this, which is not the case. I have a pretty good salary and I can afford pretty much everything I wanted to, but I like this challenge. So if I would just say I want to become an Amazon FBA seller, that's not really a challenge. Setting up the Amazon account, opening the business and all those things is not that hard. And I could sell some items, might be successful, might not be. As long as you always have a 9 to 5 job that pays pretty good, you don't have any pressure on actually saying, oh, I need to become an Amazon seller. It's different if you actually lose a job, or if you're not happy in your job, if you're broke and you need to do something. You're actually much more challenged to make sure that this new venture you're going on will become successful. So as said, because I still have my job and I cannot complain, it is actually important to have this challenge, to set a goal. The goal is always the important part in this whole process. If you don't have a goal, you kind of never reach where you want to go. So when I thought of this challenge, becoming a millionaire over the age of 50, I thought, well, I see all those young guys out there that actually became millionaires or on the way of becoming millionaires. And I envy those. And I think this is awesome, that today we have those possibilities to actually make this happen. If you go back like 20, 30 years, that was not possible. You actually kind of needed to have a very good idea. You needed to get some funding, needed to get some money to get that idea set up, to make a product that you can sell that product or that service in some way. It was a much, much longer road than it is these days. So it's actually pretty awesome. I'm happy to still be able, even being over 50, to doing this. And so I want to encourage you out there to do the same. I don't think you're too old. There's no problem in doing this. So really just get on it and do it. And so the reason why I actually started this was the company I work for, they have been sold to a competitor. And the overall situation is I just don't really know what will be the next steps, what's happening in the company. Do I still have a job in 4 weeks? All those things. And when you're your own boss, you have much more control over those things. So, and as I said before, just saying becoming an Amazon seller, that is not setting really a goal. So that's why the goal becoming a millionaire in 2 years, or let's say by the end of 2023. So I always had goals. I think they are very, very important. So let's go back a little bit in my life. As I told you in my first video, I grew up in this little village with my grandma. Then I was with foster parents. And overall, there was not really anything that would have been out of the ordinary. If I would have stayed there, I would have worked for this small communication company. I did. And at some point, I might have been the owner of that company, as the boss there would have retired, didn't have any kids. So yeah, I would have had a fairly standard, normal life, would have had the little house with the white fence and 2 kids running around there. But I still remember when I was like 17 years old, I was actually traveling around on the train, went to Munich, and at some point I went out of this subway station, walked out, and there was this humongous Siemens building. And it actually is called Legoland. The reason is on top of the building where all the elevator shafts are, and it's many different buildings, they were colored. And it looked like squares, like actually Legos. So some were blue, some were yellow, some were green. I'll show it in a picture right here. So yeah, I was 17, I saw that and I was like, wow, this is so cool. At some point I want to work there. And when I was 26, I actually did work there. So I just came from the university, had my master's degree done. I worked for Siemens in Augsburg, and they wanted my knowledge in Siemens in Munich in exactly that building. So I always had that goal going there, and at some point I actually did. Another example is when I was 19, I was traveling through the US. I met so many amazing people. That's why I love this country. And so I was 19 being down in Miami. And at some point I had to go back to Germany, as I could only stay a maximum of 3 months. So when I was traveling back from Miami to New York, where I originally arrived at, I took the bus. And I stopped in Orlando because of Walt Disney World. So I actually took the time for 1 day to go to Walt Disney World, and I just, fell in love with the place. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So again, I had this idea, at some point, I do want to work there for Walt Disney World. And you know what happened? When I was 34 years old, I actually did work for Walt Disney World. I worked in the IT department for the online ticketing sales system as a project manager, and it was awesome. So why I'm telling you this is it is important to have goals. You have to have some sort of a place to go to, an idea to go to. What is it that I want in life, in this business venture with this idea? So that's why I set the goal of becoming a millionaire in 2 years, to be my own boss again, to not worry about, will I still have a job in 4 weeks, what will happen in the company, and so on. And with that said, it also is important to me that I can move where I wanted to move. So currently living in Las Vegas, most of my family is actually here. One daughter actually moved to Phoenix, but the other daughter is still here. So most of the grandkids are still here. My wife's sister is here. So still most of the family is actually in Las Vegas. Nevertheless, we actually think of moving somewhere else where it's a bit more green. There's just no green really here. So if you're your own boss, you can do those things. So that's one of the reasons why I want to do this. So I have control of my own life. So another point I want to touch on is it harder when you're already in your 50s to do this? And I would say yes. There's many reasons for that. So one reason is you already have an established family. In my case, I have kids, I have grandkids. So you don't have like 24/7 for yourself where you can focus really hard on your business ideas. And because of that, you only have a certain amount of time to actually do this. And that makes it, of course, harder. And because of family, which is pretty much one of the most important, if not the important part in your life, you have to cater to them. So I have to make sure that I do like these videos and so on, that I do them when nobody's home, so it's quiet, even though if you hear all the cars driving by. But other than that, it is kind of a challenge to do all those things. And then, of course, I still have my 9-to-5 job, so that makes it even more challenging. So maybe I can work like in my lunch break, I can work a little bit on setting things up for my business ideas, or then, of course, after work. But usually I would sit together with my wife and family, maybe watch a show, have a nice dinner. But with this idea, with this challenge, I cannot always do that. So it is kind of a give and take, which is normal in a relationship, in a family. But it is most definitely harder. Another thing, though, is I remember when I was like 19, 20, 22, it was easy for me to stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning, writing down ideas, creating business plans and things like that. Not so anymore. So usually when it's around 12 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock, I'm really getting tired. So I go to bed because I got to get up at about 7-ish in the morning to do my regular job. Before, it was no problem to stay up till like 3 in the morning, get up at 7 and feel perfectly fine. So yeah, your body just doesn't work as it used to be. So you have to actually accompany your body and just dial back a little bit and make sure you're doing the right thing, that you're not overworking yourself. Especially when you're older, it's easy to do things you think you still can do, and then all of a sudden you're so tired and you're wasting pretty much a whole day. So as an example, if I go back like 2 weeks ago, I stayed up like till 3:30 in the morning, had all those ideas, written them down and everything, went to bed, and the alarm clock rang at about 7 o'clock. I went up and I was just like mush. I was really just, the whole day was kind of a waste. Yes, I had to work, but I couldn't do anything really for me, for my business, because I just couldn't concentrate enough. So yes, when you get older, those things will happen. There's just no way around it. Even though I try to stay fit, I try to stay healthy, try to get my sleep. I drink a lot of water, have it right here. But still, it is really, really tough to do a business on the side or several businesses on the side when you're over 50 years old. However, I still love to learn new things. So I will go into things that actually, what have I done last week till I did my first video to now. So what I did is I signed up for something called Zonebase, and I signed up for the masterclass for that. Even though my first step was I wanted to go with Lunar Ecom to create an Amazon/Walmart business. However, the entry level there is quite high. So you have to pay a $5,000 kind of buy-in. During that time, I don't know how long that takes, a week or two, they set up your business with Amazon and or Walmart. And apparently, it is not as easy to get a seller's account at Walmart. You have to prove that you have done this in the past, that you have thousands of sales already. And Lunar Ecom would do that for you. I don't know how, but apparently they do that. Once you are approved, you have to pay another $35,000, so a total of $40,000 to have everything set up. In addition to that, you need about another $40,000 on your credit card spending limit because they need to buy the products you're selling. So I asked for some proof, because Lunar Ecom is just about 6 months to a year old, and apparently they have 75 shops already going and another 75 or so in the pipeline. So it would take a couple of months till actually my store would be up and running. And I was kind of hoping to take Christmas season to sell some products. So nevertheless, the hurdle to get in there is quite high without really knowing anything about it. And so I was like, I'm not doing that for now. So what I did was Zonebase. So there's this Kevin guy, young chap, who apparently successfully built some Amazon stores. And there are actually quite a lot of reviews on it. I first looked at Trustpilot, typed in Zonebase, and there was pretty much nothing there. I'm like, ooh, is this a scam? So I was chit-chatting with some of the persons there, and they said, no, you got to look for the owner's name. So I did, and yes, there are roughly 2,000 positive feedback, a rating of 4.9, which is really high. And there is a Facebook group with about 150,000 people in it. That's a private group where, a lot of talks about how to do this and that on Amazon. So it is something that is proven. And I have seen other guys that actually use Zonebase on their YouTube channels. So it is something that is real. So I signed up for that this week. It was actually a cost of close to $3,000 to do that. Included in that is they will come up with a product that should be kind of a bestseller, if you will. They will set it up in Amazon and they will make sure it will be on page 1. And they will give me the information on where to buy it, how to buy it, and those things. So my responsibility at the end will be to actually get the product from China delivered to an Amazon warehouse where it's then being shipped from. Overall, it should be a fairly passive type of business where only I have to order the items every either couple of weeks or months, whatever, from China to get it shipped into the Amazon warehouse. I do like that option a bit better than the Lunar Ecom because I can actually use Zonebase myself and I can come up with my own products that are recommended throughout the software. And I'm sure that once I use it, I will make videos of it on how I use it and if it actually works. Because all the videos I've seen so far, they're always saying, yeah, this works perfect and whatnot, and I have no idea yet, so I will let you know about that. So the next thing I started was I built a Shopify store. So what I will do is the Amazon FBA part and the Shopify dropshipping part. So I built a dropshipping store on Shopify, and I'm looking for the products right now to put them in this store. However, I go a little bit a different route than what I've seen on YouTube videos. So usually what they do is they come up with a store, have a product in there, and then the first, let's say, 20, 30, 40 orders, they actually use Alibaba to get it shipped, or AliExpress to get it shipped right from China to the person who bought it in the United States or wherever the person bought it. However, I will go a little bit a different route there because most of those products can be found on Walmart.com or Amazon.com. And they're usually just about, let's say, 20% more expensive than they are on AliExpress. So what I will do is I will try to get those products actually from Amazon or Walmart shipped directly to the customer there. So I will buy it and have the shipping address as the customer to see if this product actually will sell. It's pretty much a proof of concept to see if it works. Once it does, then I will buy in bulk directly from China and use a shipping company who then ships it from, let's say, my warehouse to the consumer. But I don't have that huge amount of shipping time to start to get the items from China directly to the consumer, which could be in some cases easily 3-4 weeks. And in today's time, that's not going to work. So yes, I will not make as much profit at first, which is fine. It's just to see if the product actually sells. And then, of course, I started this channel. And I'm also starting, as I said before, which, is right here, the Fit and Toasty channel. I will actually start that once we move to a new place. In the next 10 days to 2 weeks, we will move to a new house. And so I should have more space to actually do those workout sessions. So I bought the camera equipment. I bought the lighting. I bought all sorts of things that is needed. Yes, it is an investment. So overall, I invested now so far, I would say roughly $4,500. That's $3,000 for Zonebase and about $1,500 for the camera equipment, as well as the Fit and Toasty equipment to do the workouts. So I'll see, how that all works out, how it goes. So the plans for this coming week. The plans are as follows. I do have a handful of products already on Amazon. Not one has been sold so far, so I will use the Zonebase software to make sure I get the right keywords for them, make sure they're in the right categories and so on. I'm looking forward to that to see if actually Zonebase is able to help me selling those products. Then I will finalize the products, I would say about 5 to 10 that I will put on my Shopify dropshipping store to have that all set up. Yeah, I was also thinking of getting into house flipping. As you know, I follow Ryan Pineda, and he's pretty big when it comes to house flipping. He has done that for the last 5-6 years or so, and he's up to like 100 houses a year. So I'm looking into signing up for his masterclass, which would be by the end of this month. However, it's another $2,000 investment to get into that. I'm not 100% sure yet. I have only till like tomorrow to actually making sure I can take the this weekend code, the Labor Day code, to get the discount. Otherwise, it would be $3,000 to sign up for the class. So I'm looking into that, if I should do it, as I think house flipping actually is a very lucrative and interesting option too. It can be done anywhere in the US, and I'm just thinking that that might be another way of, another source of income. It is something I think I can always do, no matter how old I am, and that's why I'm looking into doing that. So this is it for this video. I hope I gave you insights on about the past and where I'm going to, and I'll tell you next week more about more detailed plans on what I'm doing in regards to Zonebase, in regards to Amazon FBA. I'm sure I will have already some insights into it, so I will go more into details on that. And the same for the Shopify dropshipping store. I will see that I get the products and see what might the profit margin be, those type of things. And then will be the biggest challenge is actually advertising those. That to me is a tough one. The reason is, yes, I use all the social medias like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, but I must admit I'm not actually the most savvy ones when it comes to adding stuff to it. I'm usually just one that's consuming, but not one that's creating. So that will be the biggest challenge, but I'm looking forward to it, to learn it, and to make it happen. And I know you can too. So don't be afraid, go out there and start your business, and maybe you want to become a millionaire too. So just do it, as Nike would say. All right, thank you so much and see you next week. Bye.